I could go on for hours trying to explain to you what is intelligence, learning, and memory. Even then, you would still be confused with just mere words. And so I again make use of my diagrams to make you clear about those vague concepts. It is important that you learn about those components because you will be able to appreciate how meditation helps you improve to become a better version of yourself. It's just not enough to say as a whole you have become better. You have to be able to be more specific on what component in your consciousness has improved over time and which is slowing in progress. We all wish that meditation improved our intelligence, memory, and learning. But how do we actually measure that if we are not sure about what those concepts mean? So, this is the objective of this section, to explain each of the components so that you have a concept of what they are. And only after you know what they are can you begin to measure their impact. The measurement doesn't have to be numerical, and you don't need an instrument. It is enough that it is a qualitative kind of measurement, meaning that you can say that, oh, yes, I have improved, or I don't feel any improvement. Then you'll not need any instrument. All you'll need is your own consciousness or awareness. So let us begin this section. In order to understand intelligence, I will need you to look at the diagram in the left hand side. As usual, I will help you understand the diagram, and thereafter you will understand the concept. So, to look at the diagram about intelligence, you need first to lay your eyes on the central oval, which is the mind. As I described to you earlier, the mind consists of feelings and thinking. They are governing feelings and they are governing thinking styles. Next, on the lower side of that oval, there is a rectangle called input intelligence. This is the place where information is taken in by the mind through the intelligence. And then on the upper side of the oval, there is the output intelligence. From here, the mind, through the intelligence, produces various kinds of actions. It could be physical action, words, or simply decisions, or even thoughts. At the bottom, you will see some star shapes and a thunder, some conversation boxes. Well, these are the various objects around us. They could be physical or abstract. And then on the top, there are other shapes, triangles, mountain shapes, diamond shape. These constitute the various possible actions. Now, what the intelligence does is that it selects the information from the various objects at the bottom using its tentacles, you might call it. I have represented it with the red extensions coming out from the input intelligence. From this, it means that the intelligence is that entity of the mind which selects the information to input. This follows that somebody who is more intelligent is able to select more effectively, whereas somebody who is less intelligent would either be selecting everything or not enough. Similarly, on the top, you will see a blue blotch coming out from the output intelligence. Well, based on what the mind feels and thinks after receiving the information that it inputted from the intelligence, it will produce an outcome, as I mentioned earlier, and it should be a mixture of the various possibilities that is exhibited as various shapes you can see. In this way, the more intelligent this person is, the best or the better would be the outcome or actions, whereas the less intelligent person would produce actions that are binding, problematic, and ineffective. In this way, you can see that intelligence is not something mysterious. It is something that comes in and something that comes out. Information is taken in by the intelligence, and action is comes out of intelligence. The more intelligent the person is, the more selective and accurate his input of information is. In this way, the mind is less blocked or overwhelmed by unnecessary information. Also, it is not starved of insufficient information. And then, the more intelligent the person is, the better and calculated, unmistaken are his decisions, thoughts, and deeds. I would love to talk more about intelligence with even more examples, but again, as I mentioned to you earlier, it will be beyond the scope of this book. So let's continue now with what learning is. Look at the diagram in the middle. Basically, what it is telling is that at the bottom there is a green star. So that is the skill to learn, for example. And then the orange objects are the mind trying to learn. So, what learning is here? Well, it is the mind trying to emulate the shape of the star. So, first, you can see that the orange shape is nowhere like a star. And then, slowly, in the second part, it changes its shape to try to look like a star, but it's still far away from a star. Then in the third one, you can see a small semblance of a star with two or three outgrowths. And then on the final object, it has become the same exact star. So this is what learning is. This is what the mind does. The intelligence gets the information and the correct picture of the green star, and the mind tries to uh, mold itself to produce the exact shape at the end. It follows that some people who are fast learners will be able to achieve this sequence of transformations to attain that green star shape, faster speed. In the same token, those who are slow learners would take a longer time to emulate the green star. Some really dumb people, or thick-headed people, as we call them, would not be able to reach anywhere near the green star shape. It follows that some people would be able to learn skills in singing faster than skills in mathematics, while some people would learn skills in English faster than skills in chemistry. Some people would learn skills in communication much faster than skills in lateral thinking. So, what I'm trying to illustrate is that even the learning process is very different for different people. In this way, a person might be a fast learner in one subject while a slow learner in another subject. Next, let's look at the third diagram here. It is trying to explain what memory is. At the bottom, you will see various objects: a star, a thunder, a conversation box, triangles, diamonds, mountains. These are various information that the mind wants to memorize. So a typical memory works like the rectangle which is compartmentalized in the middle. You can compare it to a cupboard with various shelves. As you can see, it is divided into various lengths and heights. So what a good memory does is to put that information in the most appropriate shelf of the cupboard. The reason to do that is to be able to retrieve the information when needed as fast as possible. Like here, we are retrieving a star. I have shown it as the purple object at the top. To some extent, all of us use this technique of a cupboard to memorize things. However, we do it unconsciously, and having done it, we cannot know that we actually did it. So we think that we remember something well, but we don't exactly know how is it that we remember. Sometimes we forget things very fast and not knowing actually why we forget it. Most people blame it on age and stress, but it's not that. What is happening is that various people have got different kinds of cupboards with different arrangements of the shelves. So some shelves are well designed to memorize numericals, while others are well designed to memorize songs, while others abstract concepts, scientific terminology, or stories. Theoretically, we could train our minds to change its shells so as to be able to memorize anything we wished. However, practically, it is very hard. It seems that memory is hardwired in us and it takes a lot of practice. In the analogy of the cupboard, we need to be a good carpenter to shape the memory in our minds to match the requirement. So instead, people gravitate towards subjects for which it seems very natural for them to memorize easily. This is the same for learning. Some people learn singing faster than mathematics, and some people are able to learn chemistry faster than English. This also applies with intelligence. Some people are intelligent in studies, while other people are intelligent about emotions. Thus, the term emotional intelligence that is so famous nowadays. Some people are intelligent with regards to people themselves, something we would call social intelligence. And the term I just brought earlier on would be some people are intelligent with regards to meditation. So, in this way, we learned how to visualize intelligence, learning, and memory. You might not be able to write in an exam exactly the definition of those concepts, but after going through those diagrams and understanding them, I'm sure that you can explain it to your brother or sister. Now, let us talk about the very important and confusing concepts mentioned in the title. Everybody says we should have a positive attitude, negative attitude is a killer. Some people say to one another, I don't like your attitude. Out of shock, we exasperate what an attitude this person has. So, what this is, this thing called attitude? Let's look at the diagram on your left. First, look at the red object at the center. As you can see, it is a odd shaped one, a polygon, and then there are people around that object. Some are at the bottom while others are at the top, right, left, and so on. It is easy for us from the third dimension to imagine what these people in two dimension are actually seeing. What they are seeing is shown by the yellow arrows falling on the object. You can see that each one of them sees the red object from a different angle. Well, that is what we call as attitude. Let me explain now. Someone might see life as a burden, so you would have an attitude of defeatism. Someone might see himself as special, and so you'd have overproud attitude. Someone might see the world as a place where the good wins over evil all the time, and in this way he would have a positive attitude. Someone, due to some sad events in his life, may have concluded that the world is a sad place to be and unfair, so this person's attitude would be negative. What it means is that attitude is directly caused by how we see the same event. Someone might see it in one way while another person might see it in another way, and that forms our attitude. Then most of people cannot go against what they see. If you see an obstacle in front of you, but somebody says that there is no obstacle, then the other person must be crazy or blind. On the same manner, if someone doesn't see any obstacle but you see one for that person, you must be crazy and have a negative attitude. So attitude is highly relative. Nonetheless, some attitudes help us to be happy while others cause unhappiness. It follows that in order to have happiness, you need to change your attitude, and in order to change your attitude, you need to change your vantage point. There is no point of changing the object because it is the way it is. We just need to look at it differently, and somebody else who was thinking of us as a person with some really bad attitude will see us as somebody with a good attitude. That is after we change our position of observation. Next, let me explain to you what is a value. Everybody from the corporate boards to parents at school talk about teaching people the correct values. But what are they? To be good, not to cheat, to work hard. These are values. But here I'm trying to explain value in a quantifiable manner as shown in the diagram in the middle. Look at the central objects. There are two shapes. One is the square, one is a diamond. The square is the life aspect 1 and the diamond is a life aspect 2. They could be anything. They could be solitude to family, to money, to freedom, to owning a car, to embracing minimalism. So I will not limit it to anything. I will not refer to any particular values that I have listed. Next, you will see two weighing machines. They represent person A and person B's value system. Now, let's take one of the two objects here, the diamond shape. So, person A, upon weighing that diamond shape, gives it a value of 1 kg, as you can see. That means that it is not important for him, as indicated in the legend below. Then, person B, upon weighing the same object, gives it a value of 3 kg, which means it is very important for that person. What you can understand from this is that the same object has got different values for different people. And that's what value is. For someone, money must or could be the most important thing he values, while for somebody it could be the least important thing it values. Values change over lifetime. What is interesting is that people in a certain community tend to have similar values. For example, people who value freedom and independence tend to congregate in large cities where we are forced to live independently alone and to be self-centered, whereas people who value family and cohesiveness tend to live in smaller towns where there are few people, and it is inevitable for one another to depend on each other. Also, values change as a whole for society across various eras. For example, in one era, people might be valuing religion, while in another era, they might be valuing science. Then in another era, politics. And then in another era, economics. And then it could keep changing every decades or so. In this way, you have understood values now. Now let's look at the rightmost upper diagram. Through this, I'm trying to explain what is a life concept. Take a look at a map of a city that is shown there. It constitutes of various roads. According to the diagram, the various roads with starting points and ending points represents various life concepts. So there is a red life concept. It is named as life concept 1. Then the purple arrow, which I have named life concept 2, and the black arrow named as life concept 3. So life concept basically is the direction that we move in our lives. Why do we take that particular route? Maybe our parents taught us that this was the best way to reach from point A to point B, or we just stumble upon that particular route. It could be that we experiment on the other various life concepts, but we finalize on that particular one. Maybe we just follow the crowd. So based on the particular life concept that we choose, then we will experience the scenery, the people, the landscape, the cityscape that we have to go through as we move around. Like some roads have a dead end and lead not to point B but to nowhere. Similarly, we can get our life concept so wrong that it destroys us. For some people, life is a journey. That is a very common concept. While for others, life is a destination. For some people, the concept of life is that it is a struggle. For others, it is an inevitable fall from grace. For others, it is a process of transformation. However, concept of life differs widely among people, and it is not limited to what I have just mentioned. You can ask 1,000 people the same question, and you would get at least 500 unique varieties of answers. Again, the definition that people attribute to life concept might be much more complex than this simple diagram that I've put. However, I think it is a working principle for us that will help us in our own meditation. There is definitely a best possible life concept that is most suitable for happiness, and unified meditation will help us uncover and discover that particular life concept and adapt it and stick to it. Finally, I would like you to take a look at the bottommost diagram in the right side. I'm trying to explain what belief is. The diagram consists of a house, and each house has got a foundation. Each foundation has got different shapes. The first one is narrow, the third one is small, and the middle one is very wide and far reaching. So, this is what belief is. It is our foundation on which our life concept is built. The best belief system is the middle one, which is very deep and wide and encompassing many aspects of living. The worst one would be the third one because it is so shallow and very limited. Consequently, a small earthquake or a landslide would carry away that house. So, a belief is something that keeps us grounded and sane. For example, I can believe life is fair, or I can believe life is unfair. If my foundation that life is fair is shallow, then a small negative event in life is enough to topple my house. However, if my belief that life is fair has got a very deep and wide foundation, then even the worst crime committed on me would not affect my concept of life, and I would still be shaken, but I would be still standing. This is what belief does. Economics is based on the belief of scarcity. Science is based on the belief that everything is explainable. Politics is based on the belief that people need an ideology. Marriages are based on the belief that monogamy is true. So, through these examples, I just wanted to have a big, wider perspective of what belief is. It could be at a personal level, or it could be at an institutional level. Our beliefs governs our life concept, what we value, our attitudes, and our actions. These four components constitute a causational relationship between themselves, one affecting the other. Again, we don't want to go more into this causational relationship. However, it will suffice to say that they are highly interrelated. Unified meditation will help us develop the best attitude, best value system, best life concepts, and the strongest or best belief system that will enable us to live a happy, successful life that will lead us to enlightenment, liberation, and nirvana. I have talked more about these concepts in my first book and the related chapter that I've mentioned below. So you can take a look at it if you want to.